But anyway, we will start. Should we start with the ladies? The HSBC Women's Open, Women's World Championship, sorry. And Paul, given you're our resident LPGA expert, you always have been, I'd like to ask you what you know about this tournament and the course.
So it's in Singapore at the Sentosa Golf Club. A par 72 with water coming into play on a number of holes. It's twice been voted the, what do you call it? Not ecological, environmentally friendly golf course. The number one twice so far. So it's a very picturesque course, number of bunkers, reminiscent of sort of like the sandbelt bunkers that you find in on a number of Australian courses.
Inspired by the sandbelt, I believe.
There we go. Defending champ is Hugh. How do I say that? Hugh Ju Kim. And it was a very, very tight finish last season. There were, I think, 11 of the top 12 players were in contention on the final day before Hugh Ju Kim came through and won.
She was 7 or 8 under on the final day, wasn't she?
Indeed.
Yeah. That's wild. Over the top of Hannah Green, I think it was.
Yep.
I think former host.
There we go. We just heard about Hannah Green again. I get the feeling we'll hear about her a wee bit more.
I think former host, if you go back and listen to this time last year, Teddy would have been spewing and may have even put Hannah in the sea.
He did.
Yeah.
She was one that went in the sea. She's recovered from that, though.
She has. She's back.
Yeah. What? Just a tick over 6,700 yards.
Yeah.
This course. So nice. It's a fairly receptive. You've got to hit fairly straight, but the fairways aren't. There are a number of fairly friendly fairways, shall we say?
I'm interested to hear what you guys have got in terms of stats you're looking for. It's the LPGA is a hard one. They don't have yet. They're coming. The strokes gain stats that the men have. So it's and the previews in general around the world are pretty bad. But I've got this week. I had a look at last year's stats. I was looking at the top 10 in particular. Driving distance was up there. Accuracy off the tee as well. Pretty big greens, but green at regulation and putting average was very prominent at the top there. I had the top 10 last year. They hit 73% of the fairways across the week, 80% of the greens, and averaged 29 putts per round. 7 of the top 11 finishes last year averaged over 260 yards off the tee for the week. Patrick, anything to add in Singapore?
Yeah, I would have loved some strokes gained approach stats to go off. That would have been really handy, I think. It seems like each of the last 6 editions of this tournament have been won at 15 under or lower, so you do need to be able to sort of rack up the birdies if you want. So I did look at birdies or better, and driving distance was another one. I think it'll be handy to be a bit further down there if you do want to get that scoring going. And then I also just looked at par 5 scoring as well, with 4 par 4s, none of which are complete monsters, so could be fairly gettable by the longer players in the field. So those were the ones I focused in on.
Nice. Adding value already. I like it. Let's start with the newbie. Patrick, do you want to start by giving us your best bet for the HSBC Women's World Championship?
Yeah, I've gone with Paddy Tennekit, who was 3rd here last year, her first appearance at the tournament, and good sign for me was she improved every round, started off 70-70 in the opening 2 rounds, then went 68 and finished with a 65 to only end up 2 strokes back as well. Really good statistical profile. 13th in driving distance so far this year, and she was top 10 in that stat last year, and she's T4 for birdies or better on the LPGA Tour this year, so she can score with the best of them. Won the ANA Inspiration ahead of Lydia last year at a pretty low score, and she also had top 10s at the KPMG PGA and Women's Open. So in a strong field like we're getting here, she can certainly hold her own. So she's my top selection.
Very nice. Paul, who are you going with?
It was a tough decision.
Strap in, punters.
I've gone with Lydia Ko at $8.
And that's a record 20 tournaments in a row for Paul Moate.
Well, let's just have a look at her form. Her last 5 tournaments. Of course, she won the Gamesbridge. Before that, she was 10th at the Hilton Tournament of Champions, 9th at the CME Group Tour Championship, 2nd at the Pelican Women's Championship, and 3rd at the BMW. So she's in some pretty good form at the moment. Now let's have a look at her form at this tournament. The last 4 times that this tournament has been played, of course, they missed out last year due to COVID. In 2020. She's finished 7th, 11th, 9th, and 10th. So she's always been there or thereabouts in Singapore. And this was over a period where she wasn't playing the best golf of her life. So now that she is back into some really, really top form, I don't mind the look of one Lydia Ko at $8.
Yeah, nice. I can't really argue against that. Very short, but she's very short for a reason.
Indeed.
She's a very good player. I'm going to go with Danielle Kang at $19. This is her 3rd tournament of the year, and it might be the 3rd time I've tipped her this year too. She's only lost to Paul's good friend Lydia Ko. She won the Tournament of Champions, came 2nd at the Gamebridge. She ranks 11th on tour for green and regulation, 5th for putting average, and 1st for scoring average. Last year, she was 36th in driving accuracy, 4th in putting average, and she was T2 here in 2018 behind Michelle Wee. And in 13 starts dating back to June last year, she's had 5 top 5s, which include her win, and 2 more top 10s. So she is in form, can play. Danielle Kang at $19.
Yes, I'm stuck in the middle with you, and I don't know what it is I should do.
Patrick, who have you got circled for your mid-tier?
Yeah, almost fell off my chair when I saw the price for Aria Jatanagan at $76. Like,
Woo.
obviously not in her best form ever at the moment, but obviously former world #1, so she's got the class, and she won twice last year, so she hasn't been completely out of form. Course form is 24, T8, 16, 2, T4, so not exactly a stranger to this course. She was top 10 at the US Open and the Women's Open last year, 11th in birdies or better, and we just know that on her day she's as good as anyone. So yeah, very happy to have a swing at her at $76.
Nice. Paul?
I did have a look at Patrick's top pick, her country woman, Thitikal. But unfortunately at $26, I can't fit her into the mid-tier selection. She has won at this course.
15-year-old.
Yes, and the Asian Amateur Champs. So she does have a bit of form here, but unfortunately doesn't fit into that $31 or more bracket. And also, there was another one I was looking at, an Australian, Minjee Lee, who also is just outside that at $26 as well. So I've settled on Hannah Green.
Of course you have.
Well, she does fit into the $31 or more bracket.
Very surprised she's there too.
But she
Lay it on us, because I'm with you.
Well, we've just gone over her recent form. She's coming. I know the field here is a lot stronger than what she's faced in her last couple of tournaments.
Can't beat confidence though.
No, she is on a roll. And well, she's a former major winner. She's performed in this tournament before. Just all lines up, and at $31, she does look like a wee bit of value.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I've got Hannah Green circled here as my mid-tier. I'll just see if I can add anything to that. Having a look at my notes. Did you mention she was second here last year?
I did say she had form.
Yeah. She lost. She was 3 under and bogeyed the last 2 holes to miss out by 1. She ranks 21st on tour in driving distance, 69th in green and regulation, and 9th in putting average. But I think the form is the big play there for me.
Looks like a long shot, baby.
Patrick, a roughie.
Yeah, there are a couple at $111 that I really liked. Was tossing up between Nana Kirst Madsen and Yelimi No, but I landed on Yelimi. She hasn't played here before, so that is a bit of a question mark, but still very young and got all the potential in the world. We saw at the Solheim Cup last year that when she's firing, she can rack up the birdies. 13th in birdies or better on tour last year. Finished third at the Evian and T13 at the Women's Open, and second in par 5 scoring so far this year. So certainly capable of going with them. And I think, she's got a big performance in her. It'll only be a matter of time before she's winning pretty consistently on tour.
Nice. Paul.
I've also gone with $111 shot. Korean Jenny Shin. She finished second in this tournament back in 2018. One stroke behind Michelle Wee, who knocked in a 50-odd foot birdie putt from off the green on the last to win the tournament. All rights, Jenny Shin probably should have been in a playoff for that tournament back in 2018, along with Brooke Henderson, Danielle Kang, and Nelly Corder. She hasn't been at her best lately, but just that course form and the fact I can see her turning this around. I do like her style of play. She can shoot low, so as long as she gets off to a quick start, she'll be right in this. Jenny Shin at 111.
Cool. Also going for someone at 111 and someone Pat just mentioned, Nana Kurtz Madsen. It's tough when you get this far down the leaderboard. Probably not a real chance at winning, if we're honest. But once we get the minors up, definitely have a look at the minors. Where are we? She was T12 at the end of last year in the Tour Championship. Then started this year with a miscut at Cambridge, but she was T15 at the Drive On Championship in her last start. Her stats on tour aren't too shabby here. She's 10th in driving distance, 12th in greens and regulation, and 12th in putts per green and regulation. So if she can get the ball on the green, she will roll the rock. Scoring average 21st too, so can find birdies. Nana Kurtz Madsen at $111. Okay.